doesn't go to jail or anything, gets off innocent because he's connected with the courts. And then the ancient father like rubs his hands really weird on his face. And so he's just wasting away the whole movie. Yeah, that one's great. Stephen King did. Go ahead.
Oh, the fat suit reminded me of this show that I do with Carl from Who Are These Podcasts. I think you guys had him on.
Yeah,
you know that guy. So we do this like every month on Patreon. It's pretty much become we watch a fat woman's a different fat woman's fat positivity podcast and make fun of it. Like it started where we just watch podcasts and then it's podcasts of like stupid stuff, but now women are all so fat and they still love talking about themselves. So now it's just not shitty podcasts. It's like shitty podcasts about fat women talking about being fat. Anyway, the last one we did was a fat woman talking about fat tropes in movies and how fat phobic they are. And, you know, they're just like the worst thing ever. And she's doing the fat suit from Friends where Monica, do you guys remember that? Where Monica was fat? They would do those flashbacks where Monica was fat. And she plays a clip on her YouTube and it's like fat Monica comes in. And I remembered it when I was a kid, but seeing it replayed, the fat suit is not even nearly as fat as these women that are in every single podcast we watch. Like it cuts back to the woman and she's crying about the fat suit and you can tell like she's taking up the whole frame of her webcam where she's doing it, ranting about this. And I'm almost like, well, I mean, I don't know. It seems like I don't even think you are able to talk about this. This woman is so much skinnier than you. I don't see how you're offended if that's what people think that fat is.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And every single one of them.
So you're just watching big fat women talk. What are their core complaints? Is it that they feel sexy and beautiful and that they're not recognized as sexy and beautiful? Or is it stuff like wiping their ass is hard?
Wiping their ass never comes up. And I guarantee you it's the hardest part of the day.
100%. Or deciding what you want for lunch.
No, that's easy.
That's everything.
Yeah, whatever some of the stuff that comes up is like you can be fat phobic at work by watching them eat. That's come up a lot.
Eating around them.
Yeah, that's a big one. Saying that you don't want something because you're on a diet, that seems to be the biggest trigger for them. Like if you say like I don't want a donut, I don't want to gain weight or I'm getting too fat or I already had one. So much so that she talks about going to work and like eating in her car because she doesn't want people to watch her eating her second lunch.
We can all see the end of the car. Like we know she's in it because it looks like it's taking a hard left at the Nuremberg.
Yeah, it's like a kid covering their eyes because they're hiding. Like everyone knows you're in your car. We can see you in there with both hands shoveling it in. Yeah. They're funny though, man. Pretty much everything pisses them off, obviously, you know.
So how do they feel? This is just a side topic or the whole podcast is like, welcome to Fat and Fabulous, like episode 8, where I talk about how I had to pretend that I was throwing a party. And so I played. I had like a whole Kevin McAllister setup with cardboard people when I answered the door to bring all the pizzas in.
Order that many. Yeah,
Troy Aikman's coming along.
Yeah. But really, and then then I tripped over the wire and all the cardboard fell down. And he said, I know this is all for you, you fat bitch.
In one of them, this woman was talking about her horrible boss. She's like, I had the worst boss ever. And she's like breaking down because it's so traumatic. But she wrote down all of the mean things that her boss said to her. And it was like an Al Bundy writer's room. Like she was like, one time I was excited and I started clapping during a company meeting. And he goes, be careful, you might burn a calorie. And he's delivering this deadpan, traumatized. And she went through all this effort of writing down every horrible thing he said. And I'm like, no, there's no way somebody this funny just exists out there.
You might burn a calorie. That guy rules. That guy is so funny. Hey, before we get started, just going to do a tight five about these two whales. These two orcas that seem to have found our way. Did you sonar your way into the meeting room, lady?
I want to hear more about him so bad. Like, how did he think he could get away with it?
Seems like he did. Or are they saying like, and then I went to an even fatter woman in HR and he's been fired?
It sounds like that one guy was the impetus for her whole like fat phobia, curing fat phobia in the workplace consultancy that she runs or walks. Then they talk about they all have these. It's like listening to alcoholics justify why they're drinking, but like they never, they kind of get close to the very obvious ways they're fucked up, but they never connect the two. They never once. So it's like endlessly entertaining because they never will.
Financial help channels are similar. It'll be someone who makes $200,000 a year and they can't dig their way out of their hole.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't understand. And
yeah.
like, stop spending money. She's like, well, and it's the same thing with fat people. It's like, I just don't know. You know, I've been eating the granola and I've been drinking the jalapeno watermelon water and I did that juice cleanse and just nothing comes up. Stop eating. Start it's just calories in, calories out. And anything more complicated than that is not necessary when you're 400 fucking pounds. You're not an athlete. Your fucking gut biome doesn't matter, you whale. It's mostly plankton. Stop eating, and start walking. It doesn't have to be complicated. Walk 20 minutes a day, eat 3 normal fucking meals, the size of your fucking palm. That's how big your meal should be, you whale. Especially for a girl, you'll end up back at 1,200 calories, which is what you should have been eating since you were a 15-year-old.
The last one that we watched together. Again, patreon.com/The Dick Show. You can get it there. The woman was midway through their podcast, which is 3 fat women sitting in the same frame. So similar to this show, except it's 3 of us in a row, and their bodies are so big, it's just like a head, and then it spreads out, and then it's like the next lady starts, and it's sloping back up, and then so it looks like 3 potatoes, like heads that you could put little potato head feet on. Anyway, we learned halfway through that one of them had bariatric surgery, so she beat
it.
And she's still a behemoth. But she describes going through the surgery how she had to have this talk with everyone to not have any reaction at all. Any positive, not positive, it's not negative. She's not doing it for any kind of reason. And she doesn't want to be congratulated if her body changes, meaning if she loses weight, or if it doesn't change. It was like, do you guys watch Severance?
No.
No?
A little bit.
God damn it. That was the one TV show I thought I could talk to you guys about.
Sorry.
There's this scene where this woman, it's like this weird brainwashing thing where she goes, where she tells them facts about them and on the outside world, and they're not allowed to react to it. But it's like this, it's like a Scientology, like you're sitting there like, okay, and I don't want you to react this way or the other. There's no good reason to do this, bad reason to do this. There's no expectation to do this. I'm perfectly fine the way I am. I'm just getting bariatric surgery for no reason. That's what we're all going to...
They have to.
That's what we're all going to pretend.
But because if they lost some weight and you said, wow, you look so good, that would imply that they didn't look as good before. And we're all sassy and beautiful. So there is no, like, we're at the roof right now. So their whole...
looks maxing.
Their whole system crumbles if you admit that, like, losing 10 pounds is going to be a plus for them, because you'd be admitting that 10 pounds was a negative before they lost it, which it like always is. I've never seen one of those. Like, I've seen some big women that were hot. I've seen some curvy women, some thick women. I ain't never seen a big old fat woman that looked good, that where like a bikini bottom doesn't fit right anymore. It does that weird thing where it starts at her belly button and there's like a gap between it and her pussy. Like get out of here with that. You're a freak. You're a freak of fucking nature.
Get out of here.
We're not supposed to look like that. Like
can we get this show on as like a guest? Can we get them? Dude, if we want to see Woody go bananas, we get 3 big fat people here, and Woody will be like, just one quick question. When are you gonna get it together?
Welcome to Hungry Hippos episode 1.
My collegiate roommate, so I got thrown out of the dorms for throwing jelly. I've told that story 100 times. And when I came back, like it wasn't planned out and all the good roommates were taken. So I just got an assigned roommate, and this dude was like 400 pounds.
Oh.
And like he was really fat. He kept his side of the room pretty clean. But
Did he stink?
No. And he didn't
No?
even eat a lot in front of me. Clearly he did, right? But if you lived with him, you wouldn't know why he was so fat. It's not like there were Hostess cupcakes like stacked to the ceiling or anything. It was all done on the sly. And I had a lot of problems with him. Well, okay, there were two issues. He had problems with me because I fucked Jackie like 10 times a week, and there was always like a sock on the fucking doorknob when he wanted to
And
come
a
back to the
stink
room.
in the room when he came in. We should ask him about the smell.
So he didn't like that about me. But what I didn't like about him is he didn't pay his half of the phone bill. So like that was my big issue. And like he couldn't get a job. He said he couldn't get a job because everybody's fat phobic. And I'm like, well, you got money for your gym membership that you're not using effectively. He's like, no, that's an investment, right? Once I lose weight, I'll be able to get a job. And then once I get a job, then it'll all make sense. And at some point it was like, I don't know. He thought he could beat me up, right? And I was like, bro, like I work out 4 hours a day and you can't walk up the stairs. Like, why do you think you would win this fight with me? And he's like, I'm a lot bigger than you are. And I'm like, this is not going to be good for you. But I had just gotten back into the dorms from being tossed out. Like, I'm not looking for this trouble.
Yeah.
But I swear on my soul, I was not afraid of him. Like, that's not what it was. And we weren't roommates the next semester, and he never paid his bill to me. And I'm glad I don't know him.
What a
He's
dickhead.
like a chain of fat guys. I'm not looking for trouble. Hey, there you are, Woody.
What do you think?
You're a tough guy, huh? Well, that's me who come around here. I'm not looking for a fight. Like Wolverine.
Well, you found one. Some ogre. Yeah.
You think your thighs are pretty big, huh?
I've never had to deal with an annoying fat person, or at least a person who was annoying because they were fat. In fact, I usually find a fatness to add a jovial, lighthearted quality to the individual, because they've been picked on a little bit throughout life. They've been called a fatty before, and they got a good sense of humor because of it. So fat people are usually pretty decent people. Women aren't people though, so
that all makes
got that
sense.
one down.
Yeah.
This guy had no sense of like accountability. That was like at the core of everything he did. It wasn't his fault he was fat. It wasn't his fault he couldn't get a job. It wasn't his fault he had trouble with his grades. Nothing was his responsibility or his fault. He didn't cause any of these issues. He's just chronically unlucky. That is the core of everything about him.
My brother, my younger brother had a roommate. This was many, many years ago. And his roommate was also very, very heavy guy, like big fat guy. And it was that same situation where my brother would be like, yeah, I don't see him eat really. Like when I see him eat, it's like a normal thing, normal amount of food. And then like there was something going on, some event, and my brother had to leave for a weekend. And I guess he got back earlier than his roommate realized. And he said he came in and it was a shocking amount of pizza boxes. He's like, it's been like 3 days and there's like this, he must have been ordering pizza 2 times a day at different times, maybe 3 times a day sometimes, just pizza boxes all over the place.
Caught gooning.
He got caught gooning. Yeah, he got caught mid fucking feast and was like, oh no.
Is that what you think?
I've been found out.
Remember when
Johnny Whale?
Remember when Johnny Sack comes back early and catches his wife with that box of Twixes and shit?
Yes.
What happened to the Weight Watchers? You were gonna quit smoking.
This isn't about me.
My blood sugar got low. You know what you've done?
Is that a real thing that happens to people? I feel like Taylor's gonna know this. Like if you have a really bad diet for a long time, do you have blood sugar issues that other people don't?
Yeah.
Oh, I would guess
you get
so. Like
hypoglycemia.
if you like are constantly, especially eating a bunch of high sugar, like processed foods, you're going to train your body to be like, expecting this regularly. And then if you go a while without it, I think that's why people with diabetes type 2, they go 8 hours with no sugar or anything. They're like dead, not actually dead, but like they're beat, they're lethargic, they're not doing anything. Their whole body's just like, where's that influx of sugar that we're so used to?
Made too much insulin, and it ate all the sugar, so their energy levels drop out of nowhere, and you do get low. You get shaky and weak and like trembly, and it's bad. But that's easily solved by a solid diet after 3 or 4 weeks. Like genuinely, you'll change your metabolism in a month. Just eating, fixing your blood sugar for sure in a month or two. Yeah. I know I did. We monitored it as we did it.
It seems to be one of the easier things to do, where it's like, oh, blood sugar issues. Well, you're going to have to eat things that aren't necessarily fun for the next month, and then we're going to get this worked out. Unless maybe you're like 400 pounds and like you're deep in the hole, then it'll take longer. Even then, I don't know.
Like losing weight when you're 400 must be so like easy. That first 100 pounds or so it is almost no effort. It honestly, like I've lost from like 230 or whatever, and I've lost from like 210 several times. And it's like, fuck, my body really doesn't want to give up these 10 pounds. It kind of thinks it needs them. But if you're 400, your body's like, take it. It's a fire sale. Everything must go. It would love to lose 10 or 20 pounds. It just liquefies that shit. When you're big, Taylor, is a lot of your eating big meals and poor meal choices, or do you night eat? Because I night eat.
For me, it's night eating, and I'd say mostly night eating, because even the big meals, like I love meat and protein. And so like, that's what I'm wolfing down. Like I'll have a ton of meat. Yeah.
I've never made a good food choice after 11 p.m.
Not once in my life, because like,
I'm not like, I got a hankering for carrots right now.
I've never had a hankering for some baby carrots. I do. I'm an American. I buy my baby carrots, and then I replace my rotten, unopened baby carrots with my new baby carrots. And what I'm really paying for is the fantasy that there will be a night that I'll go, it's baby carrot night, but it's never come, never will. But
yeah, when night over here,
and I'm like, I like sweets just fine. Like my grandma made a cake this past weekend. Had double chocolate sheet cake. I only had one piece, and it wasn't even a big piece, so I was proud of myself for that. But what I do is I want salty snacks. It was very moist. I want chips. Potato chips are the ideal. Give me potato chips or pretzels. And I just would want, and it's not even that I'm getting a craving that I want to eat. It's just like boredom eating, where it's like, all right, I'm a little stoned, I'm playing video games, or I'm watching a movie, or I'm just hanging out here. I'm just going to munch a little bit. And before you know that, like what feels like to me, which I know isn't a reasonable pace of munching, is actually a tremendous amount of empty calories, and you're never going to get full on Lay's. And so you can just keep going until like your tongue hurts from the amount of salt.
I've gotten up in the middle of the night starving and eaten Ritz and cheese, and just standing in front of the refrigerator, just nibbling off of the block of cheese and then eating a Ritz cracker like a zombie, like half awake. Like I'm half awake and half asleep during this. I'm zombie eating Ritz crackers and cheese. And then the next day, there's this shameful block of cheese with a giant bite taken out of it. There's no way to hide what I've done.
Dude, I will do that in the middle of the night. I can't have these little Baby Bell cheeses in my house anymore. I just can't. I'll like wake up in the middle of the night to, get a glass of water or something. And suddenly it's like, well, oh, single serve. Look at it. It's covered in wax. It's good for me. And then it's like, but I'm, wax meaning it's fancy. And so like, it's a fancy cheese for a fancy man. And I'll like quick unwrap 2 of those, eat those. The darkest days I had with nighttime eating was probably 5-6 years ago, when like for a 3-month period, I put on like actual weight over like this 3-month period, where I always had delicious creamy peanut butter in the house. And I was waking up in the middle of the night and like grabbing a water or something. Not every night, but enough nights to be damning. And I was just like eating a couple spoonfuls of every single night. Some big spoonfuls.
It's really good.